No great studio is required for an artist to begin. Art can be made anywhere. There is a common myth among beginners that you need abundance of space, perfect lighting, grand proportions, and everything just right to make art. I say this with years behind me. That's not entirely true. I began in the smallest of spaces, my desk in my bedroom at my parents' house. It wasn't spacious, it wasn't perfect, but it was enough. The room doubled as a place to sleep, to study, and to paint. The truth is that beginnings often happen in less than ideal conditions, despite the desire for the ideal space. Every artist longs for a better space, but the most important thing is we can begin anywhere. We can start with what we have. Today, I still don't have a separate studio. What I have is a small corner of my living room, a space that also holds our moments of rest and everyday life. That shared room contains everything I need. I think small beginnings help you learn what you absolutely must have and what is only extra adornment. I dream of a larger studio where I can move freely, store my supplies, and preserve the works I will continue to create. A space where my art and I can expand together. But for now, this little corner sustains me. It teaches me that the size of a space does not measure the depth of an artist's work. There are ways to make even the smallest corner feel like a true studio. Over time, I build a system, little by little, by necessity, to make that tight space serve. And I want to make clear that this video does not contain perfect solutions. I am just sharing my own system, what works for me right now, with what I'm working with. And hopefully it inspires you if you're just starting out, or if, like me, you're making the most of a smaller space while dreaming of a bigger one. The most important thing is light. Natural light, if possible. Daylight softens shadows and reveals the true colors. When that's not possible, rely on lamps that mimic daylight. I live in Ireland, where the light changes constantly. One moment it's bright, and the next the whole sky is grey, and the room falls into darkness. It's in these moments that artificial lights come in handy. I like keeping a light on my left, as I am right-handed, so I can see what I'm painting without any shadows in the way. Usually I go for something as close as natural light effect, so not too warm, not too cold, so the colors stay as true as possible. Other times I need the warmness of a table lamp, mainly for inspiration, for coziness, especially on darker evenings around fall and winter. Walls become great tools, a white wall specifically. I think a clean, gallery-like background shifts focus to the art, not the space. Painting directly on the wall, but always with a protective layer underneath, so the space stays clean, is also a very important step. After years and years painting on a desk, I found out that on the wall, you have a way better look on proportions, on space composition. You can lean backwards and see your piece from a more distant angle. The eye will naturally correct what is not working and what needs change. Furniture placed with care makes the room both functional and comfortable. On that, I can say that it's best to always change up the placement of things. It's how I learned what works best for me. The main thing is to have enough space to move from the desk to the wall and keeping everything close at hand. For that, I keep rolling carts, something you can push aside when needed. I store everything I'm not using. To me, it's essential the balance between clean space while also having the tools for my painting session at reach. Keep inspiration visible. Your current works, your sketches, things you love, display them. An inspiration board, a few pieces on the wall. They remind you why you're doing this. They feed your creativity. They help you understand color analysis. They help you know what worked, what didn't, and you keep a flowing and coherent style throughout your artistic journey. One of the things I long for most in a bigger studio is proper storage, a place where my works can be kept safe. At the moment, they rest in acid-free paper, tucked flat under my couch. It's far from ideal, with risks like moisture and dust. To care for them, I bring them out often, let them breathe, and sometimes I hang them on the wall, and it keeps them alive and a little less fragile. Even if small spaces teach you resourcefulness, there are trade-offs you accept. Sometimes it's hard to store large pieces, sometimes awkward lighting angles, sometimes little room to step back and view your work from further away. But I also think that space is less about square meters, and I think it's more about mental freedom as well. An open mind, permission to make mistakes, and acceptance of what you have. A small setup can carry you far, and over time you can evolve into something greater. So if you're just starting out, don't let space stop you. Art can be made anywhere, on a desk, at a kitchen table like my mom sometimes does, in the corner of a living room. Over time your space will grow and change. You'll know what you want, what genuinely matters. Don't wait for the perfect conditions to begin. The artist you are becoming is shaped not only by what you create, by your achievements, but by every limitation you've managed to turn into possibility.